Hello and welcome to Health, Fitness and Nutrition, the channel where we help you achieve your wellness goals. In this video, we are going to talk about how to learn anything fast. Whether you want to master a new skill, language, hobby, or subject, learning fast can save you time and energy. But how can you do it? Here are some tips and tricks that will boost your learning ability and make you a super learner. Tip number 1. Set a specific and realistic goal. Setting a specific and realistic goal is an essential step in any learning journey. When you have a clear idea of what you want to achieve and why, you provide yourself with a sense of purpose and direction. This tip emphasizes the importance of setting SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's delve deeper into each aspect of the SMART criteria to understand how it contributes to effective goal setting. Specific. A specific goal is well-defined and clearly states what you want to accomplish. Instead of a general goal like, learn Spanish, a specific goal could be, have a 10-minute conversation with a native Spanish speaker in 3 months. By specifying exactly what you want to achieve, you create a concrete target to work towards. Measurable. A measurable goal allows you to track your progress and determine when you have achieved it. In the example of having a conversation with a native Spanish speaker, you can measure your progress by assessing your ability to hold a meaningful discussion within the specified time frame. Measuring your progress helps you stay motivated and provides a sense of accomplishment as you see yourself getting closer to your goal. Achievable. An achievable goal is one that is within your reach and aligned with your abilities and resources. It's important to set goals that challenge you but are still realistic. If you have no prior knowledge of Spanish, aiming to have a fluent conversation in 3 months may be overly ambitious. Instead, focusing on a specific duration of conversation with a native speaker can be more attainable and realistic within the given time frame. Relevant. A relevant goal is meaningful and aligns with your overall objectives. It's essential to consider why you want to learn Spanish and how it fits into your broader aspirations or interests. By understanding the relevance of your goal, you can stay motivated and committed to the learning process. Time-bound. A time-bound goal has a specific deadline or time frame for completion. Setting a deadline creates a sense of urgency and helps you structure your learning efforts effectively. In the example, the goal is to have a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker in 3 months. This time-bound aspect provides a timeline to work with and allows you to plan your learning activities accordingly. Tip number 2. Break down the skill into smaller chunks. Breaking down a complex skill into smaller chunks is a highly effective learning strategy because it allows you to focus on each part of the skill separately. By mastering each individual chunk, you can gradually build your knowledge and skills, which will enable you to learn the more complex aspects of the skill over time. For example, when learning to play the guitar, mastering a single chord or scale is a small yet significant accomplishment. This approach can help build confidence, create a sense of progress, and prevent the feeling of being overwhelmed. You can use the same method for any complex skill you want to learn, whether it's cooking, painting, or public speaking. The key is to identify the individual elements or sub-skills that make up the larger skill, then break them down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Once you have identified the chunks, you can prioritize them and decide which ones to focus on first. It is essential to give each chunk the attention it deserves by practicing it until you have mastered it before moving on to the next one. Taking a step-by-step approach not only helps you build your skills gradually but also enables you to track your progress more easily. Tip number 3. Use the Pareto principle. The Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, is a well-known concept in business and personal productivity. It suggests that 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. This principle can be applied to many different aspects of life, including learning new skills. The Pareto principle suggests that to become proficient at a skill, you don't need to learn everything there is to know about it. Instead, you should focus your efforts on the most important and useful aspects of the skill. By doing so, you can achieve the majority of the results with a relatively small amount of effort. For example, if you want to learn how to cook, you don't need to learn every recipe in the world. Instead, Focus on mastering the basic techniques, ingredients, and tools that are essential for making a variety of dishes. By doing so, you'll be able to cook many different meals without having to learn every recipe. When applying the Pareto principle, it's important to identify the most critical aspects of the skill you want to learn. These may include fundamental concepts, techniques, or tools that are necessary for achieving the desired results. Once you've identified these key elements, focus your learning efforts on mastering them. Another way to apply the Pareto principle is to prioritize your learning. Instead of trying to learn everything at once, focus on the most critical elements first. Once you've mastered those, move on to the next most important aspects of the skill. Tip number 4. Use spaced repetition and active recall. Spaced repetition and active recall are two effective techniques that can help you retain and recall information more effectively. These techniques are based on the principle that learning is more effective when information is presented repeatedly over time, rather than in a single session. Here's how spaced repetition and active recall work. Spaced repetition involves reviewing information at gradually increasing intervals. When you first learn a piece of information, you might review it after a few hours, then again after a day, then a few days later, then a week later, and so on. The intervals between each review session are gradually lengthened as you become more proficient at recalling the information. By spacing out your review sessions in this way, you are more likely to retain the information in your long-term memory. Active recall involves actively retrieving information from your memory without looking at the source. For example, you might try to recall a list of vocabulary words from memory rather than simply rereading them from a textbook. This technique has been shown to improve memory retention and recall, as well as increase the speed and ease with which you can recall information. There are many tools and techniques you can use to incorporate spaced repetition and active recall into your learning routine. One popular method is to use flashcards, either physical or digital, that are designed to use spaced repetition and active recall algorithms. There are also numerous apps and software programs available that use these techniques to help you learn and retain information. Tip number 5. Apply what you learn. Applying what you learn in practical situations can help you solidify your understanding and skill set, and give you valuable feedback on your performance. For example, if you want to learn how to draw, you can start by practicing your skills by sketching objects around you. This will allow you to put into practice what you've learned, and also identify areas where you might need further improvement. Additionally, you can join online communities where you can share your work and receive feedback and critique from other artists. The benefits of applying what you learn are numerous. For one, it makes the learning process more enjoyable and rewarding. When you see the results of your efforts, it can give you a sense of accomplishment that can motivate you to keep learning. It also helps you internalize your new knowledge and skills more effectively by giving you a chance to see how they work in real-world situations. Furthermore, applying what you learn can help you identify gaps in your knowledge or areas where you need further improvement. This can help you to focus your learning efforts on areas where you need the most help, and ultimately become a more skilled practitioner in your chosen field. These are some of the tips and tricks that will help you learn anything fast. Of course, there are many more factors that influence your learning ability, such as your interest, motivation, attitude, environment, etc. But by following these tips, you will be able to accelerate your learning process and achieve your goals faster. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Health, Fitness and Nutrition for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.